Quentin Tarantino has his 10th and presumably final film is in the works now.
Quentin.
Which, will be a sad thing, I guess, because I think he's one of my favorite, directors. I love his movies.
He's got a great track record.
Yeah, and I think, I'll be happy to have said that I lived in a time where I saw 2 of his films in the cinema, because we saw Once Upon a Time, and we'll see this in the cinema. Anyway, it's tentatively being titled The Movie Critic, apparently, and it'll follow, based on like a real story, or like kind of vaguely inspired by a real story, a female film critic in 70s Los Angeles. So he's going back to that Once Upon a Time in Hollywood type of setting.
He loves the 60s, 70s
the LA Hollywood vibe. And of course, I'll go see anything Tarantino makes, especially with it being his big final thing.
Big final thing.
I don't really.
I will say, like, I don't know if it's just me, but whenever I think of directors like Ridley Scott, or like maybe not Spielberg, but like like a lot of like famous, really good directors, they don't at all compare to Quentin. For me, he's just got this kind of like weird kind of like position of being one of the greatest of all time, and I don't know. I don't know if you feel the same way. Like whenever I think Quentin Tarantino, I think more than just a director. Just kind of a...
You think a
presence. A symbol.
I get what you mean, like, in terms of his style of film. Like, people talk about Tarantino being quite, like, derivative because he's inspired by a lot of stuff. But I don't think there's anyone who makes a Tarantino movie, or, like, makes a movie like Tarantino does. And a lot of people have tried, and it's just, like, he has a very distinct style. And I also think he has, like, at least for me, I know some people might disagree, a pretty spotless track record film-wise, because even like Martin Scorsese, who I also like, I love his films, not all that, but like, or Steven Spielberg, there are some stinkers in there. Like, I'm not gonna lie, like the fact that
there's a few stinker
the fact
movies.
that he did this whole thing where he was like, I think the reason he wanted to make 10 movies is because he said after the 10th movie, directors start sucking, because like everyone has an expiration date and all that. Like the fact that he's kind of kept it pretty selective. I mean, his worst movie is probably Death Proof,
like Kill Bill.
And I mean, like, my 3 least favorite are probably Death Proof, Jackie Brown, and Kill Bill. And I know that last one's a bit of a hot take from us, but none of those are bad. Like, I think they're all pretty good movies.
Yeah, they're all good. It's just, I don't know. I think you can really tell that, like, similar to the who is it? Is it James? No, it's not James Gunn. It's Guy. Yeah, similar to like Guy Ritchie. You can really tell when someone like wants to do a project and puts effort in versus when they're just doing, like a movie. And with him, it feels like all of his movies are something that he actually like really wants to do and takes pride in doing.
Yeah.
Not just for the sake of doing it,
Yeah, and they've been so like fun and influential and like, impactful, and yeah, it's great stuff. This last one, I'm excited for. I'm wondering how he's going to put his Tarantino-ness on it, because like if it's following like the real life, because I looked into this film critic a little bit, I can't remember her name, that they're saying it might be based on. And there's nothing really, there's some interesting like political stuff there. There's nothing that it screams like super bloody violence, which like all of his movies do have. And I don't know if he could resist.
But you forget that Tarantino does not mind bending everything a little bit.
That is true.
So it might be a movie reviewer, and then out of nowhere, just Michael Caine drops dead and is murdered, and it's a murder mystery.
That's a good point, actually. I thought you were going to say, and out of nowhere, they shoot Hitler with a machine gun, and it's like that scene in Inglourious. It's great.
It's a great movie critic moment.
Yeah. I guess I feel like there's more leeway to do that when you're like dealing with World War II or like slavery or that kind of stuff, where it's just this woman in the 70s who like, was a pretty good movie reviewer. I don't know where you like throw in the murdering Hitler scene, but you never know.
Maybe there's just going to be a bunch of his classic feet scenes.
That's true, actually, yeah.
Could be.
The Movie Critic starring her feet.
The Movie Critic starring a bunch of little toes.
It's just, he's like, it's my last movie. You've all made fun of me for it for years. I'm just going all out. It's just 2 hours of...
Here's a 2-hour movie
B-roll montage.
Just feet.
Just little piggies.
Tarantino and his 10 little piggies. Is him, like, dipping them in gravy and then sucking them off like you would a finger.
Jesus.
Bana, bana. Bana, bana.